Hello and welcome back. Apologies for the inconvenience, but we are back and we are ready to bring you the finals here at GP Indianapolis. Let's head down to the feature match. Hello and welcome back to the finals here at GP Indianapolis. I'm Gabby Sports, joined by Luis Scott Vargas, and we're coming into the game. Luis, taking a look at what's going on in the sport, it looks like a couple of creatures out for Brandon, a Grim Lavamancer, 2 Wild Nakatos, and a Search for Tomorrow over on Rob's side of the board. Looks like a Suspend counter has come off it, so they are approaching the mid section of the game.
Yeah, and that brings us up to speed. Our stream got through the breach for just a second here, and Brandon went turn on Nakado, turn 2 Lavamancer Nakado on the play because he is the higher seed, and Rob suspended a turn 1 Search for Tomorrow and had a turn 2 Sakura Tribe Elder. So, where are we at right now? We've got Rob Pisano at 13 life, facing down 2 3/3s, which are, one is going to get blocked by Sakura Tribe Elder and a Grim Lavamancer, which Brandon may choose to use. He could actually use it on the Sakura Tribe Elder to prevent a block, essentially dealing 3 with its ability. That'll take Rob to 7, and Burns looking like it's in pretty good shape here.
So it looks like all of his creatures are going to be attacking. Sakura Tribe Elder is going to get in front of the Wild Nakado, but sacrifice before damage. This gets a mountain out of Rob Pisano's hand, or deck, sorry.
And that'll drop Rob to 9, but it's key that Brandon chose to attack with Grim Lavamancer. He was not worried about Rob blocking with Sakura Tribe Elder, as he expected Rob to need the land way more than trying to kill the Lavamancer.
Lava Spike for Brandon. This is going to drop Rob down to 6. Another 2 more. Eidolon of the Great Revel is a play for Brandon.
That's a nice drop right before Search for Tomorrow comes out. So Rob is going to drop to 4 when that Search goes on the stack.
So Search for Tomorrow coming off as a spend here. It still needs to be cast and would trigger that Eidolon.
Oh, Rob's got an interesting play. He could potentially Lightning Bolt Eidolon of the Great Revel, taking 2 from the Bolt, of course, but then the Search for Tomorrow, because currently it's in suspend still, it wouldn't deal him 2 damage from the Eidolon. But of course, that drops Rob to 4 if he does that play.
Looks like he's choosing to take 2 damage from the Eidolon. No bolts here. Search for Tomorrow, fetching that mountain, getting it into play.
Rob's in a tough spot. He's facing down 4 creatures, is at 4 life, and if he casts any cheap spells, he takes additional 2 damage off that Eidolon of the Great Revel.
Looks like a Bloodstained Mire is the draw for Rob.
Oh, he's got a good one here.
Pia and Kieran Nalaar.
So not only does Pia and Kieran Nalaar dodge Eidolon of the Great Revel, it puts 3 blockers into play. So Rob's dead to, well, basically any spell from Brandon because of that Grim Lavamancer, but still, Pia and Kieran Nalaar give him a lot of hope as opposed to just being dead on board.
Indeed, and Brandon still has 1 more card left in hand. We're not sure what it is, but it could be the lethal spell. Looks like Brandon's going to play a Goblin Guide. In come all the creatures.
Fact or fiction, Goblin Guide's too overpowered for Modern.
It looks pretty OP right here. So it looks like Rob does reveal a force from the top, gets to draw it because of the Goblin Guide trigger. Let's see if there's anything he can do.
Oh.
Mom and Dad in front of Goblin Guide. Oh, in front of the Eidolon, actually. The Thopter's in front of the Wild Nakados. He's going to take 2 from that Goblin Guide.
And then Brandon's going to finish him off with Grim Lavamancer. Sure. So Brandon out to a quick Game 1 victory.
Very quick Game 1 victory. And see, maybe Goblin Guide is too good. The players do get a chance to take a look at each other's deck lists. The deck lists are known in the top 8.
So Rob will get to Side and Anger of the Gods, which is good against the small creatures that Brandon is playing. But other than that, he doesn't not have any dedicated burn sideboard slots. He does not have, he has 1 copy of Obstinate Baloth. He doesn't have anything like Kitchen Finks. So if Brandon has a quick start like that, it could be tough for Rob.
And here we can take a look at a Rob's deck. He does have 4 Lightning Bolt in the main deck, so that should be a good way to maybe take down some of Brandon's creatures. But as you mentioned, he doesn't have that much sideboard action, the Angers of the God, and he just wants to try to race this. Burn is a fast deck.
One of the problems with this setup is, yeah, Rob has Anger of the Gods, and that is good. I mean, look, it would have been great in that last game. But some games, Brandon is just going to go turn 1 Goblin Guide and then draw a bunch of burn spells, and you pay 3 mana to kill it with Anger, and you just get burned out. So the burn deck does have a pretty wide variety of ways it can present threats here.
Now let's see if we can take a look at Brandon Burton's, a.k.a. Sandy Dog's Naya burn deck.
Brandon also not looking to change a whole lot. He can play Deflecting Palm to prevent damage from Primeval Titan, but other than that, maybe Skullcrack to try to answer potential Obstinate Bailouts. Brandon's pretty well set up for this matchup. Even Searing Blaze is not that bad of a card against an opponent playing Sakura Tribe Elder and Pia and Kiran Nalaar. Especially with Brandon running, again, the more creature-heavy burn deck that's typical these days with a bunch of creatures with like Monastery Swiftspear, Wild Nikado, Eidolon, Goblin Guide, and then a Tarka's Command. Getting blockers out of the way with Searing Blaze does double duty, so I wouldn't expect Brandon to be changing a ton of cards in his deck. Burn tends to not want to over-sideboard. It is one of the more linear decks in the format.
All right, so our players still shuffling, going into Game 2 of the finals here at Grand Prix Indy. Looks like Brandon is looking... Oh, it looks like they're still finishing sideboarding here.
And for those of you, again, who aren't acquainted with Brandon, his mom actually holds his hand for him, and he dictates all the plays. He's not getting outside assistance, but he is using his mom as a way to hold the cards because he's unable to do so. And like I said, I've played against Brandon a lot. He's quite good at playing red.
I've had the pleasure of playing against Brandon too. We played at a PTQ in Chicago.
Yeah, and he's qualified for the Pro Tour now, Pro Tour Kaladesh, as are all players in the top 8. It's not his first Pro Tour. He's been to a number of Pro Tours before. So, but it'll be good to have him back. See, Rob Pisano, actually, the last round of Grand Prix Indianapolis, Rob Pisano defeated me with a blue-red-white
did he really?
Nahiri Jeskai Madness deck in Standard.
Jesus, what was that deck doing?
He was using like Tormenting Voice and Lightning Axe and Nahiri to discard cards like Nagging Thoughts and Fiery Temper, and then play Descend Upon the Sinful. Yeah, I got utterly dismantled. I was playing Collected Company, of course, since I've had 4 copies of Collected Company in every deck I've played in Standard over the last year.
Card. I can confirm.
I'm for sure playing Bant at Worlds next weekend with 4 Collected Companies.
Yes. This is the 6th confirmed deck?
Well, no, this is for Standard.
I'm sorry. You've confirmed like 5 modern decks, I think.
Well, we've not had much cause to talk about Standard, but now that we're mentioning Standard, yeah, I'm definitely playing Bant.
All right. Lock it in. I mean, you did top 8 of Pro Tour. I had 2 Pro Tours with it, actually.
Yeah, I did play Collected Company in both Madrid and, of course, Sydney.
All right, so players presenting the decks, going to draw their opening hands. Let's see what they've got.
And Rob really needs a hand with mana accelerants and ideally like a Lightning Bolt or an Anger of the Gods, because otherwise he's going to have a hard time outracing Burn.
And it looks like we're going to have a good game here, Luis. Both players have kept their 7, and Rob's leading off with a Search for Tomorrow on turn 1. Brandon going to kick us off with a Goblin Guide on turn 1, getting in there for 2. Oh, Rob revealed a Valakut from that, so he does get to draw it. It's going to take 2 damage, though.
And Rob is playing a relatively high land count for Modern. This deck cares about its lands so much. It's playing 25 actual lands. So Goblin Guide is slightly more of a drawback against this deck than it would be against a normal deck.
Bloodstained Mire is the land for Rob. He
And
also
this is
spends a second Search for Tomorrow.
an ideal draw for Rob. Double Search for Tomorrow on the play with a Lightning Bolt in hand. So Rob's in quite good shape this game.
Looks like Sacred Foundry untapped for Brandon. Attacking with a Goblin Guide again. Primeval Titan is on top of Rob Pisano's deck.
Grant and Avi Grinberg both successfully passed their level 2 exams as well as a grueling interview process. Thanks.
All right, a Lava Spike coming down. This drops Rob down to 11. Another Lava Spike. Down to 8.
Now, this is an aggressive draw. Rob ended up not deciding to take out this Goblin Guide here, and that did cause him an extra 2 points of damage. So we could see a situation where Rob ends up getting burned out barely by Brandon, because if Brandon has enough 1-mana burn spells, that could be tough.
So Rob does take... He took the one that had 2 suspend counters on it, but he's just representing that the one with 1 suspend counter is coming off suspend, and then now there's just one Search for Tomorrow with 1 suspend counter. Gets a land.
And that's a traditional shortcut.
Yeah.
Is now closed. Our last modern event has indeed fired or launched.
He does have a Summoner's Pact in hand, so he does have the ability to play a Bailoff here if he wants to tutor for it, but instead he's going to play a Valakut as a land for his turn. He's going to pass back to Brandon, and let's see, Brandon, 7 points of damage. How quickly can you deal them?
Yeah, this could be over very quickly.
Ooh, Wooded Foothills as that Goblin Guide attack. So he does have that Lightning Bolt, which is going to take down that Goblin Guide. Not going to be dealing any damage, and drew Rob an extra card.
Does Brandon have Lightning Bolt plus Boros Charm? If he could easily have 7 points of damage off of 3 mana right here.
Looks like the turn is coming back to Rob, so Brandon is not casting anything for now. Rob getting that mountain out of his deck.
Also worth noting that even if Rob plays like a Titan here, it's not like he automatically wins the game. Brandon has two turns of which to burn Rob out before that occurs. And Brandon has Atarka's Command and possibly Skullcrack to prevent Obstinate Bailoff life gain. So even if Rob goes Summoner's Pact, Obstinate Bailoff, if Brandon has Atarka's Command, that'll drop Rob to 4 and put him in a pretty tough spot.
All right, so here comes the Summoner's Pact. Let's see what Rob wants to tutor for. It is another Primeval Titan, though. We do know he drew one of them. Let's see, land, play it, Primeval Titan, Bolt! 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 Congratulations, Brandon! Oh my god.
That was awesome.
That was amazing.
Just like he drew it up. Turn 1 Goblin Guide, turn 2 double Lava Spike, turn 3 triple Lightning Bolt.
Bolt, 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 you're dead, my friend.
Wow, that was a turn 3 kill off burn. 15 points of Lightning Bolts and a Goblin Guide, thanks to maybe an opponent's fetch land. But wow, Brandon Burton with a pretty shocking finish there.
And here we hear the cheers from the tournament hall. And you can see Brandon, he looks so happy. We are so excited.
Yeah, this is awesome for Brandon.
Getting congratulated also by some of the other top 8 players who are still hanging out there. I'm sure you can hear some of the cheers. We're so happy for Brandon. Congratulations to him. That's awesome. Sandy Dog, all the way.
Yeah. He can add a GP win to his resume now, along with his top 8.
And he gets to go to the Pro Tour, too. I know he really likes going to those.
Indeed.
Yeah. In any event, that will do it here for Magic at Grand Prix Indianapolis. We do want to thank all of our sponsors, Channel Fireball, Magic Puzzle Quest, Ultra Pro, Pastimes Events, our tournament organizer today. And thank you, everybody at home, for being here with us this weekend. We had an awesome time covering it.
It was great.
We also love and welcome your feedback. You usually open up your...
You can email me anytime, lsv@channelfireball.com. Any feedback about what went well at the GP, what didn't go well. We'd love to hear about how we could improve coverage. Or if you have any sweet factor fictions, we will use them at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely shoot them over because they really work for any format. We usually focus on modern ones for this, but we had some standard ones, and generally these are cool to discuss. So
Definitely.
If you have any of those, shoot them over for sure. From all of the tech team here that made this possible, I'm Gabby Sparts, Luis Scott Vargas, Marshall Sutcliffe, and William Huey Jensen. Thank you so much for joining us this weekend. Bye, everybody.